Hello TechEd family. Welcome to today's jump start session on the security recommendations for your BTP environment. In this session I will explain you how we proposed the security recommendations and how they evolved and how we came to the idea to present them and to bring them near to you. And my name is Juergen Adolf. I'm a product expert for security functionalities, and and you can start the virtual hands-on session, which I'm introducing now today after this jumpstart session in the GitHub, and follow the simple steps I made there to go through all these security recommendations. So after explaining the security recommendations and their purpose, I will explain shortly in the agenda the exercises you are going to do. In the exercises you are enabling multi-factor authentication for applications, and you are diving into the security recommendations regarding user access and authentication, and also one session about the audit logging. So what are security recommendations all about? They are based on the shared responsibility model we as SAP have together with you as customers, and we share our responsibility in terms of the security configurations of your BTP services. And what does that mean? It means we take care of the security of the platform, and you take care of the applications you develop and deploy on the BTP platform, and how they are configured to make them secure in their configuration when you use them. And with the security recommendations we propose, you can make sure that everything is configured correctly. Now, how did we come to this, to have these security recommendations? We had a huge customer feedback because of the shared responsibility model, how we can help them to have a better documentation, how they should configure their services securely. And why did our customers want that? It's because they have to achieve their compliance goals and have to secure their business. And what they also requested from us is a dashboard to get an overview of their current security configuration, to reduce the manual effort to look in each and every service and how the default configuration is and how they have configured it, so that they have a dashboard where they can see the most important configurations. And that reduces their manual effort and leads to more transparency for their services. And what they also wanted, our customers, is an API, so that they can receive the actual configuration values and integrate them with their existing solutions, dashboards they already have, so that they have one integrated solution to look at security controls in their system landscape. So that's how we came to why we did the security recommendations. And now how did we approach this? Now we have created the last year the central documentation of the security settings with the recommendations for all the cloud services. And then our approach is that we have one documentation per solution, and you can have a look at them. And Later on, this is already existing. You will see it in a minute. And later on, next year, we will have a dashboard and API. That's what's currently worked on. And so we hope that next year we can deliver the extension with the dashboard and API. And currently, we have the recommendations you can follow. So how are the recommendations structured? So we have several, each component or each service has its own recommendations. You can read about them on the Help Subcom portal. And the priority, you can sort after priority. We have different priorities. We have critical security recommendations. These are the most important, dealing with high risks or threats to system reliability. And we have normal recommended security recommendations. These are good practices that enhance security and reduce the potential problems. And we have advanced security recommendations. They go even further and provide a higher level of protection to address specific needs you have in your environment. And we also have a section for the security operations map. This is a map. It's like a map for understanding security and how we deal with security. And it helps to organize discussions and content about security and focuses on how to maintain and operate the system securely. And you can select the security recommendations which are related to a special part of these operations map, for example, awareness or secure SAP code, and then you see all the recommendations which are related to this specific topic. So in Help Subcom, I have a link here in the presentation. You can search for it. There it looks like this. We have other settings which are explaining the structure of the recommendation. So each recommendation has a title, and we list the default setting, how we deliver it to you, how it works per default. And then we have the recommendation. What is the recommendation? How you should set it up in your system. And we have more information. There's always a link how you can in detail implement the recommendation. And finally, there is the update when the recommendation was last updated and an index for each and every recommendation. So then let's come to the exercises you will do after this session. We have 3 exercises you can do in the GitHub. And the first exercise is for enabling multi-factor authentication for applications. We will show you how to enable multi-factor authentication using a time-based one-time password for application users. Normally, you should also set it up for your administrative users, but with the trial system you will be using to do this security, this hands-on session on your own. There you don't have the access rights to the admin users to configure it there, so that's why we do it with the applications. But the setup, how you do the multi-factor authentication for these applications, it's the same like you do it later on for the platform users. And you will learn how to set it up and have a risk-based authentication. And that's for the first exercise. And the background is that you understand how it works with BTP. We have the BTP platform, and per default, this diagram illustrates it. You have configured the SAP ID service, which is SAP's identity provider, and where all the S users, D users, P users are lying. And there, SAP IT is the one who is the owner of these users, and they define and manage the user base. They manage the password policies. They define the authentication mechanisms and all this kind of stuff. And you, as a customer, cannot change it. And so a recommendation from us is that you change it then to your own identity authentication service tenant, which is your own identity provider. Technically speaking, the same as SAP ID service, which is maintained by SAP IT. You can maintain yourself, and then you can configure your own password policy, which is required in your company. You can do risk-based authentication for your users like you need it, and all the other stuff. That's the background from the first exercise you will do. The second exercise is about security recommendations regarding user access and authentication. And there you will look inside your system and see if there are users who if the users have the actual access rights they should have, or maybe some users left the department, went to another department, and now you have to switch the authorizations they have, or even the access they have to the systems you provide for your employees. And then let's come to the third exercise. Explain it, the background first. It's the behind. As I said, when you have configured the authentication, we have the cloud identity services, and which provide these basic capabilities for user authentication and provisioning, and they are used for this purpose to set up your authentications and authorizations. And the third exercise and last exercise you will do in your hands-on later on, you can do the hands-on whenever you want. It will stay for a while, is looking at the audit log and the recommendations we have regarding when you're using the security audit log. And the SAP audit log service is it's a platform service that stores all, if you don't know it, that stores all your audit log data from all applications and all services, and which you then can use to fulfill your audit responsibilities. They have a retention period of 90 days. So after 90 days, they are deleted. So we show you how you can export the audit log, have a look at it via the audit log viewer and download it, or use the audit log API to export it and import it into your SIEM system, and to have there in your SIEM system the analysis of the audit logs and to look if there's something suspicious going on in the audit log. So that's the background from the third exercise you will do, and here I have listed some additional information in the first link. Behind the first link, you come to the exercises, which you can do later on, and step by step, it's everything is described, and you have screenshots from every click you have to do. So it's very easy to scroll through the exercises and to get a glimpse of the security recommendations in your trial system. You can do it at home whenever you like. And there are some more links for the security recommendations and all the other security relevant information we provide. We also have a security community where you can pose questions which we will then answer. And that's it for now. And I think now we can go over to the questions and answers. So if you have some questions, feel free to pose your questions and I'll try to answer them.
Live Q&A.
Okay, so now I see some questions, and the first questions with 7 votes is from Kulkani, and the slides being presented are not available in session material. How can we get it? Okay. Okay, the slides. Then I will. We will put it on our community so that you can see them there. And the second question, is it recommended to use passwordless authentication with the current functionalities, or we should expect no, it's here. Yeah, super. Is it recommended to use passwordless authentication with the current functionalities, or should we expect in the future enterprise passkeys where customers can handle how passkeys can be stored? As far as I know, we already have passkeys. It's a web-based authentication, and but I read about the passkeys from the in the last time, so I guess we have to promote it a little bit more. Maybe we make a blog about the passkey functionality we already have with the cloud identity services. Okay, next question. Is there a tutorial mission that shows how to authenticate with our corporate IDP using OIDC and IAS as a proxy for BTP? I found instructions for SAML, but not for OpenID Connect. So, good point. So I will take this point and go to my colleague who is taking care of these blocks and propose that he enhances it. Okay, next question. Can you speak to the use case? Whoops. Okay, can you speak to the use case of corporate IDP via a proxy mode IAS tenant? So most customers use the IAS tenant, and they already have a corporate IDP, Azure AD or Ping identity or anything, where they already have their employees and their users, and then they use the proxy version of identity authentication service to just route the authentication requests through it. The advantage is to use it as a proxy is then you don't have to copy the whole user base, and you still have the advantage that the connectivity between the IAS and the whole SAP landscape is already given. You don't have to create the connectivity and the trust settings between all the SAP solutions and your corporate IDP, because that's already available for IAS. And you only have the one trust setting you have to do to your corporate IDP. Okay, let's come to the next question. Is the audit log service specially for BTP applications only, or is it used for log events from non-BTP applications such as S/4HANA? The audit log on BTP is used for BTP. S/4HANA also has an audit log, so it's a different one. But I'm not an S/4HANA expert, so I would assume they also have an API to get the audit log data, but the BTP audit log is for BTP and the applications deployed on it. So if there are applications from other solutions running on BTP, they also have to write into the audit log. And also you can write into the audit log when you have your own applications developed and deployed on BTP. Okay, next question. how to integrate BTP and Cloud Connector logging with SIEM solution. So there, the best way to integrate with a SIEM solution, like we have one at SAP, it's called SAP Enterprise Threat Detection, or others like Splunk, third-party SIEM solutions. You can use the APIs we offer, and then you can export the logs into your SIEM solution and create patterns there to see if there's something suspicious going on in your network. Okay, now, whoops. For how long will these exercises be available for us? So I think, I hope so, that they will be at least for 1 year available. And as we have these nice trial systems, we will try to make more exercises available over time. How to verify if admin users, as users, have enabled MFA in SAP ID service. You cannot verify it. Because of that, you will have to. The proposal and the way to go forward is normally that you use the SAP ID service, which you get, the SAP Identity Authentication Service tenant, which you get for free with your BTP license or SuccessFactors license, and enable your authentication methods in your own identity provider tenant, and then you are the one who can decide. Okay, more questions from Thomas CG. Once we enable the audit log management service in BTP, do we need to change any settings within our apps on the SAP account to use the audit logging service? Once we enable it, do we need to change any within our other app service in the SAP account to use? No. All services, the audit log service is a standard service. Every service from SAP service has to, or app has to write audit relevant data into. So when you have the audit log service, it always is written. So the data is also always written into the audit log service. When you activate the audit log service to look at the audit logs, you will have the data inside. Yeah. Last question. Can global account be accessed using SAP? Using EIS SSO? If not, is it in the SAP roadmap? That I don't know. EIS as a single sign-on? I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly. Maybe I will look at it afterwards and try to find out. Okay. I think that's it for now. Yeah. Then thank you for listening to this session and have a nice day. Bye.